number 10 now as we head on to San Vincenzo. 218, stage number 9 rather, 218 kilometres. Right around the coast here now as we head up towards the venue for tomorrow's time trial. And that time trial will be just short of 25 miles or 40 kilometres. So they should do that in around about 47, 48 minutes, the best men. But we'll find out about that in about 24 hours time, I guess. Here's the whole peloton hugging the road together. And a nasty little loop around town as well on the run in towards the finish. Again, it's riders from Team High Road coming up to the front end of the main field, trying to keep it organised. I think everybody believes that today we will see a big bunch sprint. A lot of concentration as riders move up on the left-hand side. You can see the Liquigas riders. They'll be looking after the hopes of Daniele Benatti. All the teams getting themselves fairly organised. The Maglia Rosa stuck in the middle there, thinking about defending that in the individual time trial. He's not renowned for his time trialling ability, but I think with the advantage he's got, he should be able to hold on to the lead for a little bit longer, at least in that individual race for the Maglia Rosa. Well, there was only one small climb out in the mid-course today. Sella didn't win it, by the way, but he did manage to go over the top in third place, so he's holding a commanding lead in the King of the Mountains. Really starting to whip up the pace there. You can see them stretching it out into a big long line. Obviously Team High Road this afternoon reckon that they've got the chance of a victory with their man Mark Cavendish. I can't see Cavendish, but he tends to be a little bit like Robbie McEwen. He sits in the group, and although the team do all of the pace making, it seems to me that Mark Cavendish likes to come out of the pack in a strange style, as Robbie McEwen does. He waits until the last moment and takes the advantage of a door opening up in front of him. 3 kilometres to go. Yes, and they're just searching up and down the peloton. There's David Miller, and you've just seen his teammate slip down there, Danny Pate, who might turn in a good time trial tomorrow if he gets his way. You might notice David Miller's got those long leg tights on and the long arm warmers as well. Well, that's not because it's cold out there in Italy here this afternoon. It's because David has a really nasty allergy to the sun, and if he stays out in the sun too long, his body, his arms come up in really nasty bumps. And they still haven't been able to find out exactly what that reaction is to, or how they can handle it in a legal matter in this day and age of doping. Yes, it really is unpleasant, and it itches as well, so he's got to keep himself covered up on these very hot and sunny days. It must be something to do with the ultraviolet rays. And so he does look a little bit silly being so well wrapped up, but I should imagine that the lycra is pretty light. I have to say, I had a similar thing myself when I was racing. It's known as prickly heat. It only affected me when I was racing. Once I stopped racing, I've never had that problem with the sun again. So it may well be that pushing your body to such great lengths as these athletes do, he's missing in some kind of a mineral or maybe some kind of vitamin. Well, Team High Road are confident they can deliver Mark Cavendish. They put their men on the front. And this should be a sprinter's delight today now. They're not going to let anybody slip away from this field. Well, Bettini riding at the front end of the main field. He's looking for that victory, isn't he? He's always at the front on the run in towards the finish. But High Road have decided this afternoon this is the time to keep them nice and fast, to keep the racers organised as possible, to stop the sprinters getting confused on the run in towards town. There is Cavendish. In fact, he's moved up to about 7th or 8th position. So he's thinking about it. He's got one win already. Let's not forget, the flags are out. Trouble around the corner, or just a tight bend? Just a tight bend. It's quite narrow, the roads here, I must say. Well, unfortunately, and a huge crowd watching them around that corner. I don't think I'd have stood on the left. No. Well, fortunately, it moves out into a slightly wider. There's Robbie McEwen at the front end of the main field. So McEwen looking for a victory, trying to use his years-old recipe of riding well in the Giro d'Italia in the first 10 to 12 days, and then going on to perform at the Tour de France. Although Robbie's had a very quiet season this year, he looks good there. Well, this has got to be one stage he's going to have a shot at. It's got to be, because he normally goes home about 10 days into the Giro. He might go a little bit longer this time before we get to the big mountains. He won't finish. That we can all guarantee. There's a move up on the left-hand side there by Gerolsteiner. They'll be looking after them, and that'll be Robert Forster. He's a great finisher as well. You see a lot of riders sporting bandages. There's been a lot of crashes in the opening week of the Giro d'Italia. Just looking, there's a McEwen. Yes, well, now we're on to stage 9. They seem to be a little bit less in the way of falling off. The riders getting to know each other pretty well. Eric Zabel riding at the front end of the group as well. You can never discount Eric Zabel. He's always consistent. Yeah. You make one mistake on the run in towards the finish line, any of the sprinters, and Eric Zabel would take advantage of it. Julian Dean down there as well, the sprinter from New Zealand on the team of Slipstream.
There's
Also
101. That's Cavendish.
Cavendish is there. Greipel has been the rider doing a lot of the work for Team High Road. He's a sprinter in his own right after a terrific tour down under this year. He scalped everybody to take an early lead in the Pro Tour circuit.
Well, you can see the work again being done by Fabio Baldato, the old man of the sport. Still got the enthusiasm, man, the speed to stretch out the main field into a very long line. There's Cavendish. There's Zabel. Excuse me, I'm coming by. I want to stay on the wheel of Cavendish here this afternoon.
Oh, it looks as though Greipel stuck the shoulder on the world champion there. That wouldn't have gone down too well. He may be a small man, but he's a very aggressive man, Paolo Bettini, when it comes to a finish, if he wants to be. And Zabel is also looking for a win here. He's still dicing with the wheels as the final lead out comes again. Is it Tony Martin once more who's trying to bring them up to the line here for Team High Road? Where is Cavendish? Tucked in nicely, almost like when he won the stage, in fact, except the riders are right up his back wheel now, instead of falling off in the closing metres. And there is Bettini. There's a lot of movement going on here now, as we would expect.
A black and white jersey there is the Kiwi champion, Julian Dean. He's right at the front end of the main field, but now it's Milram getting themselves organised. They're trying to set this one up for their man, Eric Zabel. In the middle there, Paolo Bettini zigzagging a few arms, and in fact, Robbie McEwen's arm came off the handlebars there, saying, excuse me, I'm coming through to the front. Forster makes a move on the left.
Yeah, big move on the inside of the rails there by Robert Forster. That might finish it off for them. He's a good sprinter as he comes up towards the line at 100 metres to go now, but Paolo Bettini is still there and thinking about it. The Liquigas rider is trying to get through as well, and that's Bernardi, and I think he's going to do it. Well, that's down to the photo. It was either Bettini or Bernardi, and I don't know, are they saying to each other who was it? They're not sure.
Nope. I think Bettini thought he may well have got it there. It was a very close lunge to the line. He looks over his shoulder. Did you get it or did I?
Well, they're not going to congratulate each other here in case it's a bad omen.
No, well...
one of them won.
If we can have another look at it, I'll get a chance of seeing just exactly who it was.
It was desperately close, wasn't it? But Bernardi came up on the inside there.
It's Bernardi there in the lime green. A little bit of fighting there going on. That's Greipel looking over his shoulder, and he wants to try and get his man, Mark Cavendish, to the front. Robbie McEwen stuck right in the middle there. There's the acceleration from Forster that started it all on the left-hand side, but then Julian Dean says, no, thanks, mate. I'm coming right up through them. And look at the shoulder bunching that's going on there.
They both want the back wheel there. As it's Zabel they're trying to get onto the back of. He's on the back wheel of Bernardi. Here's the final lead out, but they're leading out Bernardi. There's the run up the inside there by Robert Forster that looked like a winner when it came. It really did. He had terrific acceleration. Then Bernardi's broken on the right. Zabel tries, but hasn't got anything like the kick of Bernardi. And at this stage, no sign of Bettini.
Well, there you can see that's the start of the move there. That's the acceleration of Bernardi. Zabel's trying to challenge. Robbie McEwen's blocked in on the right-hand side, right in the middle there, but coming up to the line, the lunge, well, I'd give it to Bernardi.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, from the top, it didn't look quite so close. But I'd give it to Bernardi, which gives him his second stage win. He won stage 3 as well.
Well, there you can see right in the middle there, it's Eric Zabel trying once again to get it. The acceleration, though, on the right-hand side created just a little bit of confusion for everybody, and it was all done by the work of Daniele Bernardi. He made the move to get up to the wheel of Forster, then he continued with his effort, even though challenged on the left-hand side by Eric Zabel. Bettini really wants this coming up through the outside, but he just hasn't quite got it to beat the man who's probably going to be the new fast man for Italy over the next few years, at Daniele Bernardi.
Well, let's see, there's the confirmation, and win for Bernardi by a hair's width over Bettini. McEwen up there, first time we've seen Robbie break in. He was third in the end. But 2 wins for him now, rivaling yesterday's man, Rico, who's also got 2 wins. This will put him back in the points Ciclamino jersey as well today, in time for the time trial. There's the overall, no change at all, still 34 seconds to Roos. This will change in the time trial a little bit, I think, but not by a lot, because there's still big time gaps back to everybody else. Rico will look to shut down on that 7.5 minutes, as will Alberto Contador, who rides a pretty good time trial. We should know now, after the time trial, whether Alberto is still on holiday or whether he's here with serious intent.
Well, there was a lot of rumour and innuendo in the first week of the Giro d'Italia that he was only going to ride for a week or 10 days, but the way he's performing at the moment, Phil, I would Have to get on the phone to Johan Brunel and say you need to keep him in this bike race. So Bernati gets the points classification back from Riccardo Rico, 80 to 69, persistent up there in.
So stage 11 now, 199 kilometres to Cesena, as we